Welcome, folks. Today's class is the Ilui Nishmas, is in the merit of my father-in-law, Shlomi Yedidya Bas Ben Yosef. Shlomi Yedidya, the son of Yosef. May his soul go from strength to strength. What is considered a real person? What's the difference between a person in general and an animal? Animal goes on all fours and can only see downwards. A human being is on 2 feet and has a choice. It can be like an animal looking to the ground and seeing only materiality, only the earthliness, or it can look up to the heavens and see the divine and perceive that there is something greater, the divine. This is the great distinction between animal and human. So what does that mean exactly? It means that an animal seeing materiality is only inspired, if you will, or moved by its natural instinct. And its mind is only used in order to fulfill its natural instinct. We have a mind, as we've learned in Tanya, that the mind can have dominion over the heart. Meaning I can do the exact opposite of what my natural instinct is. So my natural instinct could be very much a material, earthy need. And I can go against that natural instinct and look to heaven. I don't have to look down to the ground. I can look to heaven and to act in a heavenly manner. In other words, what God needs from me rather than what I'm needy of. That is the distinction that there is between a human and an animal. But that's not sufficient. That's just a regular distinction. Right. You need to go a little more deeper to appreciate the ultimate distinction that there is between a real person is. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ionic Fine, bringing you with great privilege and pleasure the Daily Tanya. We are in chapter 16 in Tanya. The Alter Rebbe explains like this: what we've been understanding till now in the study of Tanya, the mind has dominion over the heart, which means that which you know should bring something to your heart. So give the example of the opposite is a doctor who knows very well the ills of smoking, but yet smokes. What does that mean? How's it possible? How's it possible when you know that something is bad, that you should not, that you should act upon it and do something that's bad for you? Very simple. Because the mind didn't feed the heart appropriately, that the heart should have a feeling. And from that feelings are what we think about and what we act upon. So it didn't produce a feeling. It was a piece of information, but it was only a piece of information. A piece of information doesn't produce feelings. When you understand something very well, with the Moyach Hadas, with the brain of knowledge, right? Then it can feed the heart and it will change you. So here we're speaking about that our normal, regular person, when they think about or meditate upon God, they think about God, they meditate upon God, the truth of God, the way God as creator, God in your personal life. And you think about it and meditate on it. What should it normally do is produce a feeling in your heart. And that feeling of heart, love and reverence towards Hashem. towards God. That is the way a real person would be. That is the ultimate, a fascinating idea. Not all of us have that capacity that we can think, contemplate, or meditate upon the divine, upon God, but our relationship with God, and that it should actually produce a real feeling in your heart. He explains that because sometimes the nature of our soul is as such that we don't have that capacity. Because you have the concept of emotions in intelligence and intelligence in emotions. So it could be that this kind of soul, which I suggest, Tanya's saying it, I suggest most of us are this kind of soul in our generation, that we're not able to give birth. We're still in what's called a neshama of ibur. We're still in the gestation. Right? You're not giving birth. So giving the mind should give birth to real emotions. That's a challenge. That's a difficulty. Not so simple. Because our soul comes from ibur, where it's in gestation. It doesn't have it's not fully developed. Therefore, because of that, says the Alter Rebbe, the very fact that a person doesn't develop a full feeling towards God, not to worry. But the fact that you think about God, you meditate upon, contemplate, meditate upon godliness, God as creator, God within your life, and the like. And the fact that you now have what's called an understanding heart or an intellectual love, that's called divine service, that you actually bring wings to the mitzvah that you're doing, like studying Tanya right now. I'm sure all of us have an appreciation for Tanya. Do we really love it? Do we really love God? But we know that it's fitting to pine after God. We know that it's fitting to connect to Him. We know that this is a divine truth. And the fact that we think this way and we then do a mitzvah this way, instead of fulfilling what our natural desire would be for our own human and mundane activity, earthliness, materiality, whatever it is, and we're doing the mitzvah instead as a result of this thought process, this meditation. Alter Rebbe says, unbelievable. That is considered divine service. A straight person is a mensch, by definition. A person, by definition, is the head's on top, the heart's over here, because the mind should feed the heart. Here, the mind isn't feeding the heart to give full-blown, real emotions towards God. Okay? The fact that you think about God, the fact that you contemplate and meditate upon. And because of that, it gave you an understanding heart, intellectual love. And with that, you engage in studying Tanya now. With that, you engage in giving charity. With that, you engage in doing a mitzvah, God's command. Amazing. That's an amazing accomplishment. The full feelings aren't there. It's okay. This is an amazing thought. Here, the whole time we're learning that the mind has dominion over the heart and it has to produce feelings in the heart, real feelings. And here we don't have those real feelings. We might have something of it, but we don't. Alter Rebbe says, that's divine service. That's beautiful. That's called intellectual love, understanding heart. And because of that, you actually did the mitzvah as opposed to engage in your personal, mundane, instead of eating, could be eating breakfast right now, all of you. There's breakfast time. Wherever you might be lunch or dinner. You could be engaged in doing those things. And yet, because if you thought before the class, Tanya, divine connection, I to God through this. And you thought about that, and this then motivates you with more of a fervor to connect and to learn. Amazing. All right, folks. We're real. The only thing is we got to think about our connection to God, about God's connection to the world. That the way we know that we should pine to connect. Just like the love songs speak about the pining of the man for the woman or whatever the case. You get the idea. Right. So here, if we think about it and study that way, amazing. All right, folks. Thank you for joining. Have an amazing, great day. God bless you all.